Hi everybody, this is Dani Rabin from the band Marbin, and I'm here to give you a fusion lesson about how to use symmetric diminished to create some fusion lines and how to work some technical patterns that will make some interesting things happen in your playing. Specifically, I'll teach you this pattern, which goes... So the thing I did there, to get to that, we would have to figure out some things first. First of all, locations for that symmetric diminished scale to where you can visualize it the way that I am. And after that, the technical pattern. So bear with me and we'll get to all of that. So, and this whole thing fits over an A7. Just let's say we're playing a blues. That kind of thing. So it's a little bit of that typical fusion sound you'd expect Scott Henderson, maybe Schofield, people like that to play. So visualizing the whole half diminished scale. First thing I want you to do is let's just locate that A note on the G string, 2nd fret. And we're going to start with the mode that fits in A7, which is a half whole diminished, A, B flat, C. But this is as much of the pattern as I want you to visualize, just the first 3 notes in the scale. Now, we're going to treat that as a block. And this little block can repeat in a transposed way to get the rest of the scale. So as opposed to, a lot of people might figure out some sort of fingering for an A diminished. That's the kind of 3 note per string thing that typically is taught. I want you to consider a different way of seeing it, just for exercise sake. I'm going to see that 3 note shape, and then I'm going to take that whole pattern and transpose it to a few areas to get the rest of the scale. So you can transpose it in minor thirds. So from A, from C, from right. I can transpose it in tritones. Right. So from A to E flat to that E flat. And I can transpose it in major 6s from, let's say, that A to this F sharp. Now, that major 6 is the one we're going to focus on because it creates this symmetrical pattern that's identical from the G string to the E string. It's the same. Now, we take that and we move that in minor thirds. That's cool, right? It's easy. It's just a shape. All inside that A diminished. And then we can just take that a string up and a fret down, meaning a tritone away, and do the exact same thing on the D and G string. And that's sort of the fingering for that first mode, meaning, they're both, if you're playing it on an A, it doesn't matter where you start, you're still in that mode. But the other fingering that exists is starting on the B flat, right, on the flat 9. And now I have that whole half shape. And that, I can invert that in the same way, minor thirds, tritones, meaning going from B flat to E, or major 6s. Now, that's sort of my source for visualizing. So I have shape 1, shape 2, shape 1, shape 2, shape 1, shape 2, shape 1, shape 2. Cool. I can do that same thing on the D string and the B string. Shape 1, shape 2. Nice. Now, let's figure out a pattern that works inside that. So if I just take the beginning here. right? So let's do a pattern of 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. That's pattern number 1. A, B flat, F sharp, B flat. And I'm gonna make it a slightly longer pattern. I'm gonna add this: G, F sharp, B flat, A. Right? And now I'm just gonna transpose that around the guitar, meaning in minor thirds. Pretty cool. In tritones. Right? Now juxtapose that with just A minor pentatonic. Right? So you can see how that relates to your key you're playing. Now I'm going to move that to that second shape. What happened here, right? I have that, right? So I went B flat, C, G, back to C, that's my first 4, and then A, G, C, B flat. Now I'm going to play those 2 patterns and move them up the neck. Pretty cool, right? So there, at this point, there's a lot of things you could do. Technically, too, I'm just going hammer on. I can pluck or pick, right? Up, down, or pluck down. I like the sound of the plucking, right? And then pluck, pull off, down, pull off. Just traveling up the neck. Just taking that whole steppy thing and moving that in minor third. Tritones down. Back to pentatonic to resolve it. So that's pretty cool. Now, here's the kicker. Here's where it gets really interesting. Once you start using groupings that don't sit in the subdivision as neatly. Like that was 8 notes and 16th notes, so it really zeroes in on the beat. Every time it's the same. You can do things like displacing those 8th notes to make it slightly more interesting. So that's nice. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's nice. But here's a pattern of 10. And 10 notes using 16th notes or 32nd notes is fusion gold. It just has a sound. So how are we going to get to those 10 notes? We're going to use 3, 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3. First pattern. Second pattern is 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then that 4 is the same. But check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking of, I'm a Takadimi guy. So Takadimi, Takadimi, right? That's cool. Now you can use it as 30-second notes too if you slow down the groove. So think about like a halftime groove. So right? All right, so that's pretty much the concept. Write down in the comments if you have any questions about any of that stuff. And I hope you dig it. See you next time.